Start off with some things that I believe are important as we begin to go along in the subject. And a lot of people don't understand why we're even talking about Esau. Why is he even somebody worth our time to even learn about? Well, the Bible has him in there, and anything that the Bible talks about is important. Yes. Y'all hear that?
Yes.
So because everything that the Bible has in it is important, then we need to talk about it all. Yes. We need to talk about it, we need to learn about it, and we need to understand it. Esau. So we're going to deal with Esau's history part 2. And I pray that the Father, this blesses you after this, so you know what's going on. The reason why this is so important that we talk about Esau is because he's the last ruling empire on this earth before Yeshua HaMashiach comes back. He's the last ruling empire. So we need to talk about him because how many people know we're living in the last days? Yes. So we need to know who is ruling at this time, what's going on, what's happening. Well, Esau is in control of everything that's happening and going on. And today we're going to discover some things that's going to really just shock you. You're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And I like to teach you things you don't know, so that way you can know it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Everybody say Apocrypha.
Apocrypha.
In 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Read nice and slow and calm. All right? I'm going to be, all right? So come on, Sister Jayla. Open up and read. Nice, loud, and strong. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7.
Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?
That's a good question to ask, ain't it? We all know who Ezra is. Who is he? Ezra. All right? He's Ezra. He's asking a good question. He said, when is going to be the parting of asunder of the times? Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it follow? And he had asked a couple of other things. He was talking about the world and if the world was made for us, why we ain't enjoying the world? If it was created for us, if it was made for us. And again, this has been some captivities away. And he's asking these questions like we're not really enjoying the thing that you have given us because we're in captivity to the enemy or to our enemy. Watch what it says. Come on.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So he said the parting or the sundering of time is from Abraham unto Isaac. When Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Jacob's hand held what?
First.
The heel of Esau. Let's see what that means. What are you saying by that?
For Esau is the end of the world.
So Esau is the end of the world. So when Jacob's hand touched Esau's heel, he was defining something. As a baby. He was defining. Remember talking about the power of defining? He couldn't speak or talk. How many people know body language means something too? It communicates something. See, so you can look and be frowning his whole message. So your body language is speaking volumes that Yahweh can understand.
Yes.
And he understood when Jacob's hand as a baby reached for Esau's heel, he was defining something and establishing something in that moment. Now, if you would have saw it or been back there, you wouldn't have thought nothing of it. You'd have been like, oh, that's so cute. Look at him. Y'all know y'all would have, right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
But this is what that meant when he held first the heel of Esau. Read it again.
For Esau is the end of the world.
He was establishing that Esau, even though he was coming out first, was going to be the last or the end. Wait, let that sink down in you. And then he said what?
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Hallelujah.
He was literally following Esau coming out, but he touched his heel first to establish, you may be ahead of me now. You may enjoy now, but we're going to enjoy later. We got next. Somebody ought to shout, we got next.
We got next.
Ooh, wait, that can preach good. All right, let's go ahead on. We're going to go to the ancient book of Yasher. Yasher, okay? Yasher chapter 26, what it say?
And they all inquired of Yahweh concerning this matter. And they brought her word from Yahweh and told her, 2 children are in thy womb.
So this is dealing with his mother, the mother of Jacob and Esau. This is the wife of Isaac. Her name was what? Anybody know? Rebecca. All right. So in the book of Jasher, it goes into greater detail on what happened with this story. She was barren, and she went and said, you know, your father, he prayed for his wife, and she conceived and had a child. Why don't you do the same thing for me? And that's what he did. So now we get to the point where now she is pregnant, and she's having something going on the inside of her. And she's wondering what the heck is going on. It's like almost World War III is happening in my stomach, in my, you know, where the baby is. Like, y'all hearing this? Okay? So she's inquiring of Yahweh concerning this matter, and they brought her word from Yahweh. And because she went to the prophets, I need to find out what's going on, because I don't think no woman is ever going through the thing that I'm going through. Y'all hearing this? Yeah. So she went to inquire of Yahweh. And what did they tell her? 2?
And 2 nations shall...
God, 2 children.
2 children are in thy womb.
So the first thing they told her to help her to understand was like, number 1, there are 2 children in your womb. Now she could have said, all right, thank you. That's all I wanted to know. I knew something was going on. Okay? So 2 children were in her womb. Come on.
And 2 nations shall rise from them.
So 2 children were in her womb, and 2 different, completely different nations would rise from them. 2 nations would rise from these 2 children inside of your womb. Okay? Come on, what it say?
And 1 nation shall be stronger than the other.
1 nation is going to be stronger than the other. Come on.
And the greater shall serve the younger.
And the greater shall serve the younger. Y'all hearing this?
Yes, that's what happened.
That's right.
This is powerful, because this tells you about the times and sundering of times. All right? Watch this. Come on.
And when her days to be delivered were completed, she knelt down, and behold, there were twins in her womb, as Yahweh had spoken to her.
So she knelt down about to have the babies, and lo and behold, that word was true. There was twins in her womb. What happened?
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Come on.
And all the people of the land called his name Esau.
Ain't that something? But they saw and said, what is Esau? Come on.
Saying that this one was made complete from the womb.
Now, keep that in your spiritual notebook or notepad. This is absolutely important, and it's going to establish a point that I'm going to make soon after I go through some other stuff. Okay? What they say about Esau? Say it again.
That this one was made complete from the womb.
He was made complete from the womb. Somebody say Esau was made complete from the womb.
Esau was made complete from the womb.
Now you probably like, what the heck does that mean? Esau, man, made complete. Just keep it in your spiritual notes. Very important, because I'm going to tell you what I believe this is saying and declaring to us. Okay? Through the scriptures, of course. Come on.
And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Therefore they called his name Jacob.
So after that, the other brother came out, took hold of Esau's heel. Therefore they called his name Jacob. Okay? Y'all follow this?
Yeah.
All right? Come on.
And the boys grew up to the 15th year.
So how old are they?
15.
Now they're 15. Come on.
And they came among the society of men. Esau was a designing and deceitful man, an expert hunter in the field.
So they're giving you the character. By the time they turned 15, they knew the character of Esau. And guess what? When you was 15, your character was it come out too. And they said, the society of men, they looked at him and said, boy, Esau, no, he's a designer and deceitful man. But he sure can do some hunting, boy, can't he? He can hunt in the field. That's what he had already established by the age of 15. Not only did he establish something about himself, Esau, but also Jacob. What is it about Jacob?
And Jacob was a man perfect and wise, dwelling in tents, feeding flocks, and learning the instructions of Yahweh and the commands of his father and mother.
Now look at Jacob in contrast to his brother Esau. He was perfect and wise. Why? Because he was dwelling in the tents. He wasn't running the streets. Ooh-wee.
Okay.
He was dwelling in the tent. He was dwelling in the tent. He wasn't all out in the street going all over the place. He was right in the house. Dwelling in the tent. What else? Feeding the flocks. In other words, he was doing his chores, house chores, right? Doing what was necessary. And not only that, he was learning the instructions of Yah. That's what you was talking about with T. Intense, learning the instructions of Yah. And then the commandments of his father and his mother. Learning what his father's commandment was and what his mother's commandment. What they want to see you do in your life. The commandments of the father and the mother. Y'all walking with me through here?
Yes.
This message is about to be very, very important and significant. Hold on for a minute. We're building somewhere. Come on. Joshua chapter 27. Come on, Brother John. Read.
And Nimrod was observing Esau.
Hold on. Now all of a sudden, we done turned the page, and now we're introducing Nimrod. Now Nimrod, ain't that something? Was still alive in the time of Esau.
Wow.
Watch this. Read it again.
And Nimrod was observing Esau.
Louder.
And Nimrod was observing Esau
Come on.
all the days, for jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days.
So what this is showing you, and it's establishing something, why is Nimrod even thinking about Esau?
Right.
He's a little 15-year-old boy. Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
But he is observing Esau all the days. Watching him. Looking at him. And then it goes further to say, a jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod. When it had concern with Esau. There was some jealousy in his heart. So this is showing you what happens when we're dealing with darkness and dark forces and dark powers. That there's even some jealousy among spirits and people that are wicked. That another person, wicked person, might not like this other wicked person because maybe the other wicked person got something greater on them than they do on them. As if in regards to wickedness. Watch this. Come on, what did it say?
And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. But Nimrod did not go in the ways of the Lord.
Nimrod did not go into the ways of Yah. Why?
He was more wicked than all the men that were before him.
Because Nimrod was more wicked than some of the men. Just a few of the men. Than all the men that were before. He was the most wickedest. Than all the men that came before him. Come on.
In the days of the flood until those days.
So he was the number one top wicked person. And he liked to be number one, numero uno. But we see jealousies happen with Esau.
Wow.
Watch this. Come on. This is what Nimrod did to make him so wicked. What did it say?
And he made gods of wood and stone.
Uh-oh, look at what he's doing. Now we can see why he was wicked. He's making gods of wood and stones. And then what does he do with these gods of wood and stone?
And he bowed down to them.
And he bows down to the gods of wood and stone. Come on.
And And he rebelled against the Lord.
And he rebelled against the Most High Yah. Come on.
And taught all his subjects and the people of the earth his wicked ways.
He taught everybody on the earth how to be wicked. And this is the days after the flood. And the Father just destroyed the world prior to this because of what? Wickedness. But now he's showing the whole world how to be what? Wicked. He's showing his wicked ways. Come on.
And Mardon, his son, was more wicked than his father.
So he got a son that's being born. And he's even more wickeder than his father. But it don't say that Nimrod was jealous of Mardon, does it? Very important to see and to understand. Okay? Nimrod's name means rebel. One who rebels against Yah. So he was named the right thing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because that's what he did. He acted out his name in rebellion against Yah. And he said, I'm going to build a tower to the heavens. And we can be like the Most High. I'm going to build us a tower. And in other writings, it talks about he wanted to assassinate the Most High Yah. Now, you would ask the question, because in modern day time, we got a whole bunch of towers. What's the tallest building in the world?
Tower, the Sears
Sears
Tower.
Tower we got down there? Well, why wasn't that knocked down? Y'all see that? Don't we got something in New York? What's the New York one called? Empire State Building, right? We got all these buildings and all this stuff that's being developed all over. Why none of those buildings being knocked down? So it had to be more than just him building a tower to the heavens.
Right.
It had to be something else to it.
Right.
Just dropping it on you. All right? Stirring up thought. Come on, what it say?
And everyone that heard the acts of Mardon, the son of Nimrod, would say concerning him, from the wicked goeth forth wickedness. Therefore it became a proverb in the whole earth, saying, from the wicked goeth forth wickedness, and was current in the words of men from that time to this.
So it's letting you know, from the wicked goeth forth wickedness. Can you imagine that being the saying about you? Boy, they know they wicked. And ain't nothing coming from that but more wickedness. Imagine that being your title. Nimrod wore that title as a badge of honor, though. Watch this. Y'all follow the story so far?
Yes.
Okay? So this is Nimrod and his son. They both wicked. Watch this. Why was Nimrod jealous of Esau? Because that's important to know what we're dealing with when we're talking about Esau is the end of the world. Because you look at all the nations and all of the captivities Israelites have been in, for somebody to be at the end of this thing, and they were at the beginning of it, and they're going all the way through to the end. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
There has to be something unique about a person who was at the beginning when Nimrod built his kingdom, and going all the way through the flood, all the way through all these things, and then he gonna end up being at the end of the whole thing. Has to be something special and unique about Esau. Read this one again.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Y'all remember that one? We read that one? Come on.
And all the people of the land called his name Esau, saying that this one was made complete from the womb.
He was made complete from the womb. So that led me to start thinking about how are we made from the womb? Psalms 51:5. Come on, Sister Jayla, read.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me.
So from the womb, everybody was born in sin and shaped into iniquity. Read what it said about Esau again.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And all the people of the land called his name Esau, saying that this one was made complete from the womb.
So what they're saying that he was made complete sin, and he was made complete lawlessness he was made complete in that. When he came out, there was no repentance. There was never going to be any change. There was never going to be any difference because he has to be born way back then and he has to survive and live through all of the wicked kingdoms so that he can be standing at the end. Somebody say survival or the fittest. See, he was a skillful hunter. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? So he was made complete sinful from the womb.
Yes.
And everybody that comes from him act the same way and do the same thing. Very important to know. Watch this. Who killed Nimrod? Let's find out. Who killed Nimrod? Who killed the one that it says from wickedness comes forth wickedness, more wickedness? Who killed Nimrod? Because if Nimrod was the beginning of this thing, whoever kills Nimrod at the beginning and gonna be at the end of this thing has to be somebody that's important.
Yes.
He has to play a role at the end of times. Who killed Nimrod? Let's find out. Jasher chapter 27. What did it say?
And Nimrod and 2 of his men that were with him came to the place where they were. When Esau started suddenly from his lurking place, and drew his sword and cast it and ran to Nimrod and cut off his head.
Woo! Wow. So who killed Esau? Who killed Nimrod? Esau killed Nimrod. He ran towards him and did what to him? Esau cuts Nimrod's head off. Anytime somebody cuts somebody's head off, it's cutting off their authority and cutting off their power.
That's right.
That's true.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So some authority and some power has been transferred, and Nimrod understood because he had got a prophecy in his time that the seed of Abraham would ultimately destroy his kingdom. So he was looking at the descendants of Abraham.
Right.
And when it got down to Jacob and Esau, we find out that it was Abraham's lineage that actually cut the head of Nimrod off. But we do understand and know that the Bible says that there was 2 different what? Nations in her womb. So from the prophecy, it looked like it was Abraham's seed, but then it clears it up and says there's 2 different nations inside of her. Y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Esau cuts off Nimrod's head. This is the real Esau, and this is the real Nimrod, and Esau cut the person Esau. We ain't talking about a spirit. Right. We're talking about the person Esau cut off Nimrod's head. Took away his authority and his power. And I wonder, could this be the reason why Nimrod had jealousy for Esau? Because he was made complete sin. Complete. Everybody looking for the man of sin, ain't they? Well, he's Esau. Because Esau was born in sin. He was shaped in iniquity like us all. But he was made complete like that. In other words, there was not going to be a change. I think I didn't say something that went over y'all head. Y'all looking for the man of sin. The man of sin has already been revealed. And he's here. The Bible says in the time of Jesus, there's many antichrists already in the world.
Come on, take your time with it now.
And guess who was there at that time? Esau.
Come on.
Everybody, who got the mark of the beast? Who's the man of sin? And they're going off of the movies that they did saw. Right. Is it going to be Damien? The Omen? Who's it going to be? Who's going to be? Who's the man of sin? Esau is the man of sin because he was made complete from the womb. In other words, he wasn't going to get no better. He wasn't going to repent. He came out the way he was. And by 15, they said that Esau was a what? Designing and deceitful man and an expert hunter. Woo, I'm preaching better than y'all saying amen. But that's all right. We're going to go hit on. He cuts off Nimrod's head off. Watch this. Jasher chapter 27, what it say?
And Esau fought a desperate fight with two men that were with Nimrod.
So not only did he cut off Nimrod's head, but Nimrod had two people with him.
Yeah.
And he fought a desperate fight with the two men that was with Nimrod. Come on.
And then they called out to him. Esau turned to them and smote them to death with his sword.
So the men knew that it was Esau fighting, and Esau turned around and made sure they was going to be killed too. And it says Esau smote them to death with his sword. Y'all hearing that?
Yes, sir.
Because he didn't want, it was too quick for him to be known. He didn't want it to be known what he had done.
Right.
And so they called out, Esau? Esau? You just killed them. Esau was, killed them. Cover up this evidence. I want nobody to know what I did.
Wow.
Are y'all following this now?
Yes, sir.
Watch this. Come on.
And all the mighty men of Nimrod, who had left him to go to the wilderness, heard the cry at the distance, and they knew the voices of those two men.
So now other men are hearing the cries of these other two men, and they knew the voice. They was with Nimrod when he left. Come on. And what happened?
And they ran to know the cause of it.
They was wondering, why are they hollering and screaming? And, what is the uproar? Come on.
When they found their king and the two men that were with him lying dead in the wilderness.
So they found them and discovered their bodies dead in the wilderness. Nimrod and his two men. Come on.
And when Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod coming at a distance, he fled.
So he left
Yeah.
the scene of a crime that he committed. He left. He said, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I done got rid of all the witnesses, and I'm about to be out of here. Because he was a designing and deceitful man.
Yeah.
He was a professional hunter. That's what he did.
That's what he did.
Watch this. Come on.
And thereby escaped. And Esau took the valuable garments of Nimrod,
So he took some valuable garments that Nimrod had on. Watch this.
which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod, and with which Nimrod prevailed over the whole land. And he ran and concealed them in his house.
So Nimrod had some clothes that they say came from Adam and Eve. And these clothes that he had from Adam, remember when the father supposedly had made them clothes in the garden?
Yes.
And when he made these clothes or whatever, these garments, they had the ability to make all the animals bow down to Nimrod. So that's how he became the mighty hunter before Yah. How would they give him that title in the book of Genesis?
Wow.
And Esau took those valuable garments that Nimrod prevailed over the whole land, and he ran and concealed them in his house. I'm going to hit that maybe next week, because I got a revelation for that too. But I don't want to share it right now. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next one. What did it say?
And Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men. And he came unto his father's house weary and exhausted from fight.
So what I just did was take y'all forward a little bit,
Yeah.
and I'm going to bring you back to where we started off last week. Esau took those garments, ran into the city. So Esau ran into the city because he was trying to hide from what he had did. So he's running into the city on account of Nimrod's men. He was trying to get away from the men, okay? Because they were out in the wilderness. So he ran to the city. Are y'all following him? Okay, come on. And he came unto his father's house, weary and exhausted from fighting these men. Now watch this.
And he was ready to die through grief.
Now he was ready to die through grief. Was he ready to die through grief because he had killed Nimrod? Or was he ready to die through grief because he had took these valuable garments? Why was he ready to die through grief? We got to know what kind of grief that was. That's another revelation we're going to have in the future too. Later on, I'm going to give it to you now. But it's something for you to think about. Come on.
When he approached his brother Jacob and sat before him.
So now he's in front of Jacob, and it looks like he's dealing with all this grief, and he's exhausted, and all this stuff is going on, right? It looks like that, all right? Esau killed Nimrod and then he sells his birthright. Now, think about that for a moment. He killed Nimrod, and now he's about to sell his birthright. I wonder, was he selling his... Oh, maybe I better not tell you that. Come on, Genesis chapter 27. What did it say?
And he said unto his brother Jacob, Behold, I shall die this day. And wherefore then do I want his birthright?
He said, I'm about to die this day. What in the heck do I need this birthright for? And remember in the Bible, it talks about, he said, what does this birthright mean to me? Give me the porridge. I want what you cook. I want what I can get right now in the natural realm. Because that's what he was into. He was involved in the natural realm. Give me this stuff right now. Stuff I can see, I want that. What do I care about this birthright? What do I want this birthright for? Come on.
And Jacob acted wisely with Esau in this matter. And Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, for it was so brought about Yahweh.
It was brought about by the Most High Yah. Esau didn't have his birthright tricked away from him. He sold his birthright. It wasn't stolen, but he sold his birthright. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Esau sold his birthright for the red pottage or red lentil. Now, I just had some red lentil soup the other day. What colors? You ever red lentil soup? What color was it?
It's like a deep burgundy, reddish type color.
Yours was deep burgundy?
Yeah.
Well, mine looked like it was brown.
Red brown.
Yeah, mine looked like it was brown.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with these colors, but maybe the same colors that they had back then wasn't the same colors we have today, or something been switched around, something is a little off with that. Because even they talk about with the fringes, they say it's supposed to be, you're supposed to have a veil of blue around the fringes. But when you look up blue, blue don't mean blue, blue means violet. Violet. But everybody got blue. But it's not blue, it's violet.
We changed it.
You see what I'm saying? So, nevertheless, Esau sold his birthright for red pottage and red lentils. And Esau despised his birthright. Those things that we can ascertain, he wasn't interested in it. And I wonder, maybe he wasn't interested in it because he had found and got something better.
Right. So
So he thought. Remember, Yeshua, what did Satan do to him? Took him up to a mountain, and then an exceedingly higher mountain, and said, all these kingdoms I'll give to you. Just fall down and just worship me. And he didn't do it, did he?
No. Yeah, because he already owned the kingdom. Why don't do that to somebody?
But that's the thought that we always had. Well, he owned it already, so why did he do it? Maybe it wasn't that at all.
I think
Maybe that wasn't the fact that he owned it. Because we've heard that before. I heard that in church all my life. Because he owned it. The cattle were down the hills. It belongs to him. All that kind of stuff. I've heard all that. Maybe it was something more to it than just the fact that he didn't take it because he owned it already. Maybe he knew that if he would take it at that time, then he would replace Esau. Because Esau has to be the end of the world. So because Yeshua is the Word made flesh, he said, I can't do that. It's already been written because he went for what it was written. That you're going to worship Yah, him alone shall you serve. And even if I did do that, that would mess up the end of the book. And I'm the Word made flesh. I can't mess up the end of the book. Those are Esau's kingdoms. Are y'all hearing that?
yeah.
Right now, this world has been turned over into the hands of the wicked. See, we got to get that through our minds. Because what happens is we still want a part of this world. Even though it's wicked. See, if we keep saying, well, he owned everything. No, he didn't own that because it's wicked.
That's right.
See, Satan has become an angel of light. So that means his ministers have to be what? Workers of deception. So all the preachers I've ever heard all say, well, he owned it anyway. I don't think he did. Because Satan wouldn't have offered it to him.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying? So obviously it was something that Satan was able to offer Yeshua.
That's good. That's good. That makes sense.
Because after he died and rose, he said, now I got all power.
Right.
But at that time, when he was talking to Satan, he didn't have it then. Are y'all following what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay? I'm just bringing these things out. These are just my thoughts and my notes, okay? Nothing is sketched in stone, but it's a good thought to have when you meditate the word, okay? Genesis 25 and 29 and 30, 34. Come on.
And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die.
That's what he said in the Bible, in Genesis. He said, I'm at the point of die. Jasher just told you why he was at this point to die. Come on.
And what profit shall this birthright do to me?
He said, what profit shall this birthright do to me? Why do I want it? What is it going to profit me? How? Because I got something better than that now. You see how I come to that conclusion? At this particular time, now 20 more years of me preaching this, I'm going to have a whole bunch of different revelations of why. Okay? But this is a good start, right?
Yes.
All right, come on.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And he sold the birthright unto Jacob.
So he sold his birthright to Jacob. How many people have heard in churches? He was tricked. Anybody heard that ever in church?
Yeah.
But right there it says what?
So,
So now we can correct the teachers. And say, I'm sorry, but he didn't get it taken from him or deceived out of him. He actually sold his birthright. Okay? Come on.
And Jacob gave Esau bread and pots of lentils.
This is the exchange. He wanted that. Jacob gave it to him. Come on.
And he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
He went, ate what he gave him, drank what he gave him, and he went his way because he despised what he was supposed to get from his birthright. Woo! How many people despise their birthright?
Come on. Come on.
Esau hated his brother Jacob and vowed to kill him. Come on, this is recap from last week. Come on.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and I will slay my brother Jacob.
Y'all hearing it? So what we see, understand, is Esau obviously, because remember, he said there's going to be two nations in you, and these nations are going to be great. So these nations have to last all the way to the end of days. Their descendants have to go all the way through history and last at the end of days. So when Esau said, the days of mourning of my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother, this was something that was going to be a perpetual thing in his heart. Because remember, he was made complete from his birth, from his womb.
when he came out.
Y'all hearing this?
Yeah.
Remember, Father told Jeremiah, before I formed thee in the belly of your mother, I knew and ordained you to be a what? Prophet to the nations. And nothing in his life could change that fact that he was going to be a prophet to the nations. Matter of fact, Jeremiah himself said, I said to myself, I ain't going to tell nobody nothing. But guess what? It was just like fire. The word. It came to me, it was like fire shut up in my body. I had to release it. I had to give it out. Even though I didn't want to.
Yes.
Because he was ordained to be a prophet to the nations. So Esau has to be wicked. Come on.
And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau has touching thee, will comfort himself, pursuing to kill thee.
Purposing to kill thee. He had purpose in his heart. He was going to kill his brother. And somehow, genetically, he was able to transmit that and transfer that genetic activity or genetic matter or material to the rest of his descendants. And even to this day, the same thought that was in Esau's mind is the same thought they had back then. Because we're dealing with the same enemy. We're dealing with it's been the same enemy all this time we've been dealing with. Whether it's Egypt, whether it's the Syrians. whether it was the Medes or the Persians, whether it was the Greeks, whether it was the Romans, whether it was the Americans, Arab, it don't make it. We've been dealing with the same brother that want to kill his brother. The same person that wants to kill his brother. Esau. We've been dealing with the same thing all of this time. Ain't that powerful?
Yes.
Jacob and Esau got similar blessings by their father. Come on, what it say?
And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. He smelled the smell of raiment and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed.
I love that saying so much. I said that's called the outside smell. When your children come in, they've been outside all day. And he said, See, my son smells like the smell of the field which Yahweh has blessed.
Hallelujah.
But mama used to say, boy, get away from me, you smell like outside.
Yeah.
Come on.
Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee.
Come on.
Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
So this is the blessing that Jacob got. Okay? Come on.
It came to pass as soon as Isaac had entered in of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out gone out from the presence of Isaac his father. And Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
So now, let's see the blessing of Esau. Come on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, our dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above.
So the blessing sounds similar. The same blessing that Jacob got in this regard is the same one that Esau got. Okay? Come on.
And by thy sword shall thou live.
Oh, now it starts changing. By the sword shall thou live.
Yeah.
They're going to live by the sword. Esau would. And you can see that because how did he cut Nimrod's head off? With a sword. He'd already started that rolling in his life. Come on.
And shall serve thy brother.
You're going to serve your brother. But you're going to live by the sword. And you're going to serve your brother. Come on.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, and that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So it comes a time when dominion is established that you're going to break this yoke of your brother off of you. Y'all hearing this?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that that happened under David. David and all the Edomites were subject to him. And David was over all 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
Okay? This was the other blessing that Jacob got. And this blessing was the double portion. What did it say?
And Isaac called Jacob, and blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
This is very significant and why Esau has survived throughout the annual years of perpetual because of this right here. Come on.
Arise, go to Padam Aram, to the house of Bethel, thy mother's father.
This is Jacob. Come on.
Take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban.
This is what his father's will was for Jacob. Don't marry none of these daughters in Canaan, but go over here to Laban's house, your mother's brother, and you get a wife from them. Come on.
Thy mother's brother, and God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful and multiply thee.
Y'all follow that? Okay, come on.
That thou mayest be the multitude of people.
Here's the blessing. This is the double portion blessing that's about to come upon him. What did it say?
And give thee the blessing of Abraham.
And give thee the blessing of Abraham. Woo-wee! He said, I'm about to put a blessing on you. You're already going to be blessed when you do these things. But I'm going to give you the blessing of your grandfather.
Yeah.
The blessing of Abraham, come on.
To thee, to thy seed.
And to your seed. If you marry the right person.
Right.
You got to marry the right person, though.
You come from another nation.
I know hearing it. You got to marry the right person.
That's right.
But he stayed inside the house long enough to get the will of his father and his mother in the house. He got their commandments of what they wanted him to do.
Right.
Come on.
With thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham.
So in other words, you're in a land and you consider the stranger in the land, but he's going to give you that land that you are a stranger in. It's going to become yours. You're going to run it all.
Right.
If you do this. Okay? Esau saw what pleased his father, and instead of honoring his father and mother, he dishonored them. He did just the opposite of what the will of his father was. Watch this.
And Esau saying that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father. And then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughters of Ishmael, of Abraham's son, from the sister Nebaioth, to be his wife.
So what we have here is Esau seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father. Then went Esau. He went and did the opposite of what his father, what displeased his father.
Yeah.
And he went to Ishmael and said, I want to marry that girl right there. Give her to me. So now Esau's seed is now being mixed with Ishmael's seed.
Right.
Ishmael was a Hebrew.
Right.
Unequivocally Hebrew. So you have Ishmaelites and you have Isaacites. Because they were brothers.
Right.
And they were both Hebrews. And when you go to the land of Israel, you will see the true Ishmaelites. And guess what they look like? They look just like us.
That's something.
And they said, man, we get the same treatment y'all getting, man, over there. They call themselves, what people call them, Afro-Palestinians. They say, when you come to Jerusalem, you will see the Jewish quarter, you'll see the Armenian quarter, you'll see the Islam quarter, and you'll see the Christian quarter. But nobody tells you where the African quarter is.
That's something.
Because they want us to be hidden. And those pictures are on my YouTube page.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me show you. That way you can at least see what they look like. How many people are interested in seeing what they look like?
Yes.
Is that my phone? They know I'm in the Sabbath service. They call it anyway. Let me show you. I know what it is. I'm going to show y'all what the Afro-Palestinians look like.
We live in a quarter which is not on the map. And if you go to Israel,
Oh, yeah, he's right there at the park.
Yeah,
the
that's
capital
him.
Palestinians. We live in a quarter which is not on the map. And if you go to Israel, the God is never able. We're talking about the African quarter. African quarter because the generation, like my father, he came from Chad. The group came from Nigeria. The group came from.
We look the same? Looks like brothers, though.
Pilgrims, they have been to Mecca and Saudi Arabia. They came here, stayed here, began to marry from the Palestinian side. Today we are talking about the second, third, and fourth generation. We are about 40 families. Now, it's very important to get an idea about the way we are living among Palestinians, the way among Israelis. With the Palestinians, we usually say we are privileged. We are well accepted, respected. If you go to the African quarter, you find a lot of brothers married to Palestinian girls. You find Palestinians married to sisters from the quarter. We never felt discriminated because of the color. I think this has to go our role.
So, y'all see what they look like?
Yep.
I want to show you that.
Wow.
That man kissed me and both my wife kissed us right on the cheeks on both of them. He said, "Welcome home, my brother." Welcome home. Because Ishmael was Isaac's brother.
Right.
We know what happened. We know the story. But they still were brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right? So y'all see what's going on, who Esau married into. Okay? Watch this. Yahweh confirms the blessing on Jacob. He confirms the blessing on Jacob because Jacob finds the gateway to heaven. And everything in his life was just blessed. Even though he had to go through some things, he ultimately got the victory over everything that came up against his way. It came up in his life. Come on, let's read the gateway of heaven.
And Jacob awakened out of his sleep, and he said, "Surely the Lord is in this place."
That's when he saw the ladder and saw angels descending and ascending on the ladder, going up and down this ladder. He had a pillow down there on the stone of his head, and he had a dream, and he saw, they called it Jacob's ladder, and Yahweh was at the top of the ladder, and he saw angels going up and down this ladder. And look at what he said. He said, "Surely Yahweh is in this place,
And I knew it not.
and I knew it not." Come on.
And he was afraid and said, "How dreadful is this place."
He started thinking like, man, this is the place of Yah. How dreadful is this? He started thinking, came to himself like, man, this is powerful. I'm laying here on the ground having this dream and this vision, and this is the place of Yah. What did he say?
This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven.
Now, gate of heaven. He found out where the gate of heaven was. And the land that he was sleeping on was the land that the Most High Yah was going to give him. Now watch this. This is what I was saying when I was talking about Nimrod building this tower up into heaven.
Right.
Because the place in which he was building this tower obviously had to have access to the heavenly realm.
Okay.
Are y'all hearing this?
Right.
Right. But that was not for him to build a gateway or a big old tower up to the heavenly realm. So the Father came down and shut it down. Y'all hearing it? Confused the languages and got that work to stop going. This terminology, the gate of heaven, is just like the terminology of portals, wormholes. There are places on this earth that access other dimensions. Uh-oh. Now I done really lost. I lost half of the audience now, right? Nobody want to hear me no more.
Come on. Listening.
I'm letting you know, if it's in a movie,
Yes, sir.
if it's in a movie, which they label as science fiction,
Right.
for the purpose
Right.
of you to say, oh, that's just
Yeah.
imaginary. That's just fiction.
Okay.
Can't be possibly real. The Indians, the Catholic Church owns a mountain that they have a telescope on called Lucifer.
Wow.
And they are looking deep in space at something and for something. It's already documented that the Catholic Church are looking for extraterrestrial life. And they have found it and discovered it way out in space. That's why they built this telescope called Lucifer. On this mountain that they bought, stole pretty much. They didn't buy nothing. They just pretty much stole the mountains because it was the mountains where the Indians were.
Right.
It was an Indian reservation.
Yeah.
And the Indians just so happened to be Israelites. Upon the particular mountain where they have this telescope, there were stories that were told that this mountain, they saw a whole lot of things happen on this mountain with different entities coming through this portal or this area on this mountain. It was a sacred mountain. Now, when you start thinking about mountains, where did Yahweh ascend to? On a mountain. What was the name of that mountain? Mount what? Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai.
Y'all remember that? Moses saw the burning bush and said, why this bush is just staying on fire, but it's not being consumed. I'm going to go check this out. And he moseyed on over, and when he got there, the Most High started speaking to him. He said, the ground that you walking on is holy. Remove them sandals off your feet. And the Most High began to speak to him out of the burning bush.
Come on now. You in something deep. Come on.
What happened to Yeshua when he took Peter, James, and John up to a mountain called Mount Transfiguration?
That's right.
All of a sudden, this big light came and blinded everybody. And there was two people that appeared, Moses and Elisha. And they were able to recognize who those people were. And Peter, it got so good to him, he said, let's make 3 tabernacles. One for Moses, one for Elijah, and one for you, Jesus. And then all of a sudden, the light came, a voice came from heaven and said, this is my beloved son. Hear ye him. Where is Yeshua HaMashiach supposed to come back to? Where's his feet supposed to land when he comes back to the earth the second time? On Mount Olives. So mountains are important, and you need to understand and know that there's something about, where did the watchers come? What mountain did the watchers come on in Genesis chapter 6 when it talks about the sons of God came down and started joining in with women in Genesis chapter 6? Again, it talks about their feet landed on Mount Hermon. Something going on with the sky and then the mountain. Because the mountain is truly the highest thing that... So it's something going, it's some kind of portal, something going on that we need to understand and be aware of how this stuff operates in. It's more, it ain't science fiction. It's a little bit more to it. That's how they deceive the whole world, by placing it under that. But it's more to it than what you think and know.
That's right.
Jacob, way back in Genesis chapter 28, said, I have found the gateway to heaven. Now, who gonna believe that? He said, I found a point. I saw angels descending, and they're saying it was a dream. He was just only dreaming. When he got up from the dream, he didn't let it go. What did he say? Jacob awake out of his sleep, and he said, surely Yahweh is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, saying, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of Yah, and this is the gate of heaven. Y'all hearing it? A portal was there. We still just talking, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. While Israel went into captivity in Egypt, Esau became a mighty nation of dukes. Y'all remember we talked about the dukes last week? Let me give you the definition of what the duke is, because I didn't even go look it up myself until I started thinking about it. Heard me saying the message. I said, man, I didn't even tell them what a duke was. This is the definition of dukes. Dukes are tame. Dukes are docile. Dukes are friends, intimate, chief, or leaders. So Esau created dukes who were tame. They wasn't going to rise up against him. They were docile. Even though they speak tough, they were really docile. Are y'all hearing this? They looked like they were friends and intimate. They were chiefs or leaders, and those were the dukes that he established in his nation. So Esau had dukes while the children of Israel were suffering in Egypt. He was becoming a mighty nation on the side. Are y'all hearing that? Watch this. Genesis 36. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. So now in Genesis 36, it tells you that Esau is who? Edom. The word Edom means red.
Not white.
Okay? It means red. That's right. Esau is Edom. So the Bible already clarifies who is Edom. So when you see Edom anywhere in the Bible, who is it really talking about? Esau. So we got that?
Yes.
All right? Esau who became Edom and Adullam, and you'll see this word a lot too. They're interchangeable because it's talking about
Esau.
talking about the same person. Esau descendants, land of Edom, Adullam land, and notice where it was. It was south, east of Palestine,
Yeah.
in the south.
Right.
That's where Esau loves to be, in the south.
Right.
Esau loves to be in the south.
Yeah.
Are y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Esau was southeast of Palestine. Ain't that something? So the question is, Brother Rizzo, what do you think about that picture?
Yeah.
How did Esau go from looking like this to looking like that?
Ain't that something?
That's a good question to know. Ain't it?
That's a good
We need
question.
to know how that happened.
That's a good
How did that take place?
How did that take?
How did Esau go from looking
Like that.
like this
Right.
to looking like this?
Mm-mm-mm.
Ain't that a good question to know?
Very good question.
I got a black person and a white person. That's what I got there. How do they go from black to white? Let's keep mama breath, let her know what I'm saying. How did Esau come from looking like this?
Yeah.
Because this is the way he looked at first. They were black, okay, in color. But he went to look like this.
Dude.
How did he go from looking like this to looking like this? These are the Cardinals in the Roman Catholic Church. How did Esau come looking like that? Because in the time of the Messiah, there was a guy by the name of Herod. Y'all ever heard of him? They call him Herod, right? Herod, Herod. And guess what he was? He was an Edomite. That means he came from the lineage of who? Esau. And guess what? He was in charge of something. All of a sudden, the Edomites was in charge of a lot of the councils and all of the Sanhedrin court. All the Edomites was on there all of a sudden. In the time of Yeshua. Matter of fact, he talked to a group of Pharisees and scribes. They were teachers of the law. And they said, we know our father is Abraham. Over in St. John chapter 8, around verse 44. And he said, if Abraham was your, we're not going to get to the issue if Abraham was your father now. Because if Abraham was truly your father, then you would be able to hear my words. He said, but you can't hear my words because you are truly of your father, the devil.
That's what he said.
And these were scribes and Pharisees, people that wear Hebrew Israelite shirts. They got a whole bunch of t-shirts, Hebrew Israelite, Hebrew.
Yeah.
You know, all these shirts, they got printed up. But they're truly Esau. They're Edomites.
Yeah.
But they look just like you and me.
Right.
And you can't tell the difference. But the Bible does say, by their what? Fruits, you're going to know them.
That's right.
You're going to know them by the fruits. So we need to know, how did Esau become one way and now look a total different way?
Right.
What did Esau just do? We just read it. Did he obey his father and mother, take somebody from the house of his father? What did he do? He went outside of who he was. Because he is a designing and a deceitful man. He went to Ishmael and got women from there. And got women from Canaan land, the place where his father told him not to have.
Right.
Are y'all following this? Look what happened here. Genesis 10, 1 and 5. Let's talk a little bit about the table of nations. Let's find out how he became like this. Are y'all ready to go to sleep? Y'all ready to finish now? We can end everything. Oh, you want to hear? Okay, well, we'll keep going. All right, Genesis 10 and 1, what does it say? Sister Jayla, come on.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after them.
Okay, so we understand. This is Noah and his 3 boys. All right? Come on. Tell me what happened.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Magog, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer,
Ashkenaz.
and Rephab, and Togarmah.
Yeah, there you go. Go sound it out, girl.
Got it.
Reading is fundamental.
Yes, it is.
I'm letting them reach for the word. Let them reach for it. All right? What I want you to see, Japhet, and then you see Tubal.
Yes.
Remember these names. And then Ashkenaz. They started off, yes, as being people that became ultimately a what? Nation of people. Anybody ever heard of Ashkenazi Jews?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there he is right there. Now, they'll tell you, oh, that was just a person. That's not the same one as what we're claiming of. There's somebody else. Don't even think about that. That's another person that had nothing to do with the modern day Jewry today. Ashkenazi. Most of the people that's in Israel, that's what they call themselves. Okay? But we see that these were the sons of who?
Japheth.
My. And then this son, what that name? Javan. Very important name to know, as it has a lot to do with what we're talking about today. But we're going to find out who Javan was, and we're going to find out what was Tubal, because we got to find out how these people connected to Esau. So right here, you already see Javan, Tubal, and Ashkenaz. And these are the modern day Jews that are in Israel today. A lot of them are this right now. And they were all the sons of who? Okay? Watch this. Come on.
The sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim, and Jonan.
So don't the name. So what we see is Javan. These are his sons.
Yeah.
And one of them was Kittim.
Kittim.
Now, you may see it spelled with a K, or you may see it spelled with a CH.
Yes.
But that's just a way for them to get you thinking that these are two different words, two different things, two different pronouncements. Like you may see Isaiah spelled one way, and then over in the book of Acts, like it says Elisha. But it's still talking about Isaiah. That was a type error on their part. That's what they want to spell. Okay? Are y'all following that? Like Ezra and Ezra. Y'all following what's happening? Some kind of new thought paradigm has come into the mix. Okay?
Yeah.
So y'all see all these sons. So we got up here again, Japhet, Tubal, Gomer, Ashkenaz, Javan, Kittim. Okay? And these were who? Who were these?
By these were the isles of Gentiles divided in their lands. Everyone after this tongue, after their families and their names.
So now we already know who the Gentiles are. Because everyone that came from one of those sons were what?
Gentile.
These are the isles of the
Gentiles.
So tell me again, preacher, pastor, brother, sister, prove to me that you're a Gentile again. That means you have to be from one of Japhet's sons in order to be considered a Gentile. So I guess that just destroyed the thought. Because you have to prove that you're a Gentile.
Right.
Normally people ask me, prove that you're a Hebrew. Did you take a DNA test?
Right.
Did you get your mouth swabbed? What did it come back with? Because we're Gentiles.
Yeah.
And we're the church. And if we're Gentiles, and we're the church, we can't be no Hebrews. Right? I'm a Gentile. I've been born of the seed of Japhet. Are y'all here? Because that's what they're telling you if they say they're Gentile.
All right.
See? Born of the seed of Japhet. And you try to tell them, man, you a Hebrew. Born from Jacob, Isaac, Abraham. No, I'm a Gentile. I want to be born from Japhet. Y'all see what's going on here?
Yes.
These were the house of the Gentiles.
Right.
Uh-oh, let's see the table of the nations, see the map here. Give you a better place, a better way to see the whole picture there.
Okay.
You got Europe,
Yeah.
what they call Asia,
Right.
what they call Africa. You see, Japhet's people was up in this area. Shem's people was in that area, and Ham's people was over in that area. So we were right in the middle, if you're an Israelite. Again, Europe, Ashkenaz, Gomer, right there off the Black Sea. All his other sons up in that area. Shem, right up in this area here. Ham, over in that area over there.
Right.
And there's the Red Sea that they crossed.
Right.
Y'all hearing this? Y'all seeing this? This is all important because we're trying to find out how did Esau become looking like one way and not looking like all these other folks.
Right.
How could that be possible?
Right.
Jathan. This is one of Japhet's sons who was a Gentile. His name means what?
Deceiver.
Deceiver.
And one who makes
Say.
say. He
That's
says,
terrible.
what kind of name is
Name
that?
his son that.
His name means deceiver, and he gonna make you say it.
I would name my son that.
Javan. Ain't that something? Well, it has to do how they played a role in history too.
Right.
They deceived, and they definitely made a whole lot of people say. Javan, the fourth son of Japheth, whose descendants settled in Greece. Ooh, so I guess we know who Javan is now.
Yeah.
Alexander the Greek is called the king of Javan.
Bam.
The word was universally used by the nations of the East as the genetic name of the Greek race. My. So I guess who want to be a Gentile now? That means you got to come from Alexander,
They're great.
those folks' side.
Yeah.
Macedonia.
Right.
Are y'all hearing that? Interesting, isn't it? So Javan was a Gentile, and his father was. Javan was the father or the daddy of the Greeks.
Right.
Japheth was the father, the daddy of the Gentiles.
Right.
So I'm sewing it all up.
Okay.
Y'all got that?
Wait a minute.
Oh, I forgot y'all were taking notes. This is very important to know and understand because this was the history that they snatched out of your Bible under the book called the Apocrypha. It's in the 1611 version of the Bible. The Apocrypha is there. And around 1885, they decided to move it 20 years after we were so-called emancipated. So I guess they knew we were going to be starting to read stuff and figure stuff out.
Right, exactly.
So they took that middle part out because they don't want y'all to have nothing to do with that. You want to hide anything from these folks, put it in the book,
Yeah.
and then tear it out of the book and hide it. Call it the Apocrypha. Call it something that they'd be scared to go read.
A real long name.
Tell them in seminary it's only history.
Yeah.
Kittim or Chittim. Kittim, descendants of Javan, son of Japhet, and the land settled by them. Chittim seems to denote primarily the islands of Cyprus, and also to employ it in a wider sense to designate other islands and countries adjacent to the Mediterranean, as for instance, Macedonia and Rome. And they get that in Numbers 24:24 and Daniel 11:30. Got scripture references to show you who these folks are. Look at what it says. A Kittim, the plural form, the name of a branch of descendants of Javan, the son of Japheth. Kittim, Chittim. Make sure you show the screen. Balaam foretold that the ships shall come from the coast of Chittim and afflict Eber. Eber, we know through etymology, became Hebrew. Prophesied in Daniel that the ships of Chittim would come against the king of the north. It probably denoted Cyprus, whose ancient capital was called Kittim by the Greeks. Y'all getting something so far?
Yes.
Off the chain. Now we're going to conclude with the book of Joshua. Now we're about to get some stuff that I think y'all really gonna appreciate. How's the food so far?
Very good.
Y'all eating something? Has anybody got gravy? This is the gravy. This is the icing on the cake. This is the pumpkin pie. The sweet. This is the dessert now. Okay, we're getting to the dessert. Zepho connection to the Greeks and Romans. Joshua chapter 20, verse 22, because we're still trying to answer the question. Pastor, you still ain't answering the question. How did Esau look one way and come out looking another way? You put all these pictures up, but you still ain't proved nothing. All right. Joshua chapter 20, verse 22, verse 24. Come on, Sister Jana, read.
And at the revolution of the year, the troops of Africa continued coming to the land of Tatum to plunder as usual, and Zepho son of Eliphaz heard their report. And he gave orders concerning them, and he fought with them, and they fled before him, and he delivered the land of Tatum from them.
So all of a sudden in the book of Joshua, we're talking about Zepho son of Eliphaz, the land of Tatum. So who is Zepho? The son of Eliphaz. We already know what the land of Tatum is. The Greeks. Watch this. This is how you start rightly dividing the word of truth. Who is Zepho and who is Eliphaz? Ain't that a good question to ask?
Yes, sir.
See, a lot of times we don't read the genealogies. We just skip over all that. And we go down to whatever we consider is the meat of the matter. Okay, he begat him, he begat that, he begat that. And you can't barely read the name, so you just go, he begat, okay, I get it. Jesus. All right. Yeah. Right? So, who was Zepho and who was Eliphaz? You got to go through the genealogies to see who was who. That's how you're going to determine who these people are and what the significance and importance are. Genesis 36, 1 through 4. Come on, read.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom. Esau took his wives and of the daughters of Canaan.
Hold it. He took his wives from the daughter of who?
Canaan.
Canaan. Come on.
Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite.
And specifically named this sister. Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. All right. And when I say sister, I'm saying that she's of darker hue.
Yeah.
All right. Come on.
And Adah bare to Esau Eliphaz.
Woo! Now we know who Eliphaz is. That was Adah's little boy. Esau's son.
That's good.
Are y'all following it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Genesis 3, 36 and 11. What is that?
And the sons of Eliphaz were Timon, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz.
Now we have who Eliphaz was, and now we have who Eliphaz's son was. Y'all see that in the book?
Yeah.
Zepho is right there, ain't it? So now, who was Zepho and who was Eliphaz? The descendants of Esau. You know, we got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Esau got Esau, Eliphaz, and Zepho. Father, grandfather, father, and grandson. Sons and grandsons. Zepho and Eliphaz. Okay, now watch this. In Joshua, let's read it. What did it say?
And the children of Chittim
Who are the children of Chittim? Romans, Greeks, come on.
saw the valor of Zepho.
So the valor of Zepho, who was a descendant of who?
Esau.
Come on.
And the children of Chittim resolved, and they made Zepho king over them, and he became king over them. And whilst he reigned, they went to subdue the children of Tubal and all the surrounding islands.
Woo! Now we done made the connection of the Gentiles. Because they saw Zepho, and they said, Zepho, man, we appreciate your valor. We want to make you our king. And he became king over them, and while he reigned, they went to subdue the children of Tubal, who was another descendant of Japhet, the Gentile, and all the surrounding islands. They were two different nations.
Right.
Esau was complete from his wounds.
So he was like that.
He was wicked, period. And every descendant he gonna have is gonna be wicked too. And all they interested in is dominating, ruling, and controlling everything.
So they can't even trust each other.
Ain't no honor among thieves. See, what happens is, for some reason, we give the devil a benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, if Satan was sitting right here in a chair, or sitting next to you, brother, and he said, man, I wouldn't believe nothing that man's saying up there. You'll look at Satan and say, you know he's Satan. No, here it is. So we can't give him. You know what else we do too, as people? We hear something bad in the news, and we say, what in the world? Why would somebody do something like that? How many people ever did that before? You know what we're really saying? We're really saying, I wouldn't do nothing like that.